Whoa, hold on. Before you play with the gun from their desk, let's play a little guessing game. Although the title looks hard, it is really easy to understand the basics of these words. The beginning of genomics sounds a lot like genes, which it is. Now bioinformatics is a big word, but separating the words is into bio and information, which again it also is. That is how easy it is to understand these big words. Talking about the Human Genome Project, it is basically the mapping out of all of the genes of a human being and understanding all of these genes. Let's start with what genomes are, which are basically the whole set of genes. So, to go into further explanation if you're so confused, genes is information passed down to you by your parents, or in other words, what makes you look like your mom or dad, from the color of your skin to the color of your hair. Now think of a favorite band with each member being a gene. Alone they can sing. Together they form the whole band and perform better, which is the genome. This is the essential of the Human Genome Project. The goal was to understand and completely know where the genes are located throughout the human body, since there are about 20 to 25,000 genes, and from this there are 30 billion DNA pairs that make up the whole genome. The accomplishment of this project was giving a whole new life to our knowledge of the human body and close the gap between what we know, and the information could also be switched in order to see all of it throughout the internet. It gave us the ability to visualize the structure and organization of the genomes as well. This project also helped use the data recovered on animals like the fruit fly and compare it to ours. With this project, we can identify the crucial genes for life.
Bioinformatics. What is bioinformatics? Some of you may know the definition of the word biology, the study of life in living things such as plants, animals, and humans, and what makes these things up. Now, informatics, that's a tough one. But think about it this way. Informatics sounds like information, and that is the definition. Informatics is the science of getting information and saving it for later studying. When we put the definitions together, bioinformatics means the study of biological information, which is mostly done with computers. Bioinformatics is important to genetic research because genomes have a very large number of parts moving at the same time. With the help of bioinformatics, all of this information can be easily studied and researched. For example, when you try to multiply big numbers like 1,574,823 times 5,106,825, wouldn't it just be easier to use a calculator to find the answer faster and using it for a math problem? Well, that's basically the job of bioinformatics when using genetic research.
Today we will be talking about population growth and its many aspects. But first, what is population growth? Population growth is the increase in people or individuals in a specific population. When populations have unlimited resources such as food and shelter, they steadily continue to get bigger and bigger and experience exponential growth. An example of this would be a group of lady beetles who live in a garden full of tasty flowers and leaves to eat. Because they have lots of food and water, they can keep growing and growing as much as the garden allows them to. However, when a population has limited resources, it experiences logistic growth, in which the environment or the place someone lives can only support a certain amount of a specific population. Now, if other bugs lived in the garden with the lady beetles, they wouldn't have as many resources as they would living by themselves. Since the lady beetles don't have food and shelter, their population will only be able to grow as much as the environment can support them. Now, carrying capacity comes into play as being the amount of people or living things that an environment can support before degrading or breaking down. Let's say that the garden can only support about 100 lady beetles, and when the lady beetle population suddenly reaches over 100, the flowers grow smaller and the grass gets yellower because the lady beetles aren't allowing them to fully grow. Finally, we have a population crash. And if you're thinking that a population crash is when the size of a population begins to decline or crash, then you would be spot on. This decline in individuals in a population can be caused by factors such as limited resources, too many predators trying to eat the lady beetles, or very little growth in their population.
To understand what gene sequence is, we need to understand DNA a bit better. DNA has a double helix structure. It looks a bit like a twisted ladder. The structure holds the coding or instructions for the molecules in it. The molecules are formed of 4 nucleotides adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. Adenine is like best friends with thymine, and you think of them as AT, and then cytosine and guanine are also paired best friends. CG. These pairs are what make up gene sequence. Involving but different from gene sequence is DNA fingerprinting. What DNA fingerprinting is a method or form used to identify an individual from a sample of DNA by looking at the unique patterns in their DNA. This is how cops and policemen discover or find the person who's committed a crime. It usually involves a comparison of samples. The samples could be hair, fingerprints, blood, spit, or any other pieces of quote-unquote you that hold DNA. Police compare bits of hair or spit left by a robber to new samples found and check to see if they have a matching DNA. If the results are a match, then they have found the